Okay, today I am with Chris Schiel. He is a runner and also the owner of Extra Mile Running in Schaumburg, Illinois. Welcome, Chris. Uh,
Well,
Let me start by asking you, when you started running, how you got into it.
running for me started when I switched high schools. So I was a South suburbanite, and we moved up from down there up to Wheeling in the 90s. And I didn't have any friends, so I figured I ought to join a sport. I'm not that big though. I'm, 5'10", probably in high school, 130 pounds. So running was kind of a natural fit. So I went out for the track team my freshman year. Met a lot of great kids. Runners are the absolute best people. It's a really good community. Um, just very supportive, very intelligent. A lot of really good students in there too, which was kind of a good crowd to fall in with in high school. It was a natural fit. On top of that, we had a future Olympian on our team. The Torres twins ran at Wheeling in the 90s. That's George and Ed Torres. George ended up running the 10K in the Olympics in Beijing in 2008. And they actually led us to a state championship in cross country. So running really became a part of my cultural identity there as we qualified for state 3 years in a row, my sophomore year through my senior year. And after high school, I kept running some in college, but I wouldn't say that I pursued it as a passion.
Mhm.
I spent a lot of my 20s, just doing what 20 somethings do, going out and partying and trying to get a good job and all that. And then right before my 30th birthday, yeah, I got in the car one day and I put the seatbelt on and I kind of felt it digging into my belly, and I said, well, maybe it's time to get another pair of running shoes and start doing that. And I never looked back. From then forwards, that's been about 10 years now of this constant, 4 or 5 days a week minimum running, and met a whole nother community as an adult that's really become some of my best friends in the world. So that's, in a nutshell, that's the story.
Mhm. And how did you become a business owners? Now you're serving that community. Um, talk a little bit about what how you started your business, why how you came to that decision that that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah. So when I came into the running community as an adult, there was a running store here in Schaumburg. It was on Roselle Road.
Mhm.
And my friends with the fast track racing team and that store were affiliated. So the store hosted most of their runs, and it was a really nice symbiotic relationship. And 4 or 5 years into that, the store chose to move locations. So they uprooted, they went up to kind of gain access to a new market. And that was just a little further than a lot of the recreational runners wanted to go for a weeknight group run. And it kind of displaced us. So um, we were running out of the Meineke Rec Center in Schaumburg on Weathersfield Road for a while. And you were just kind of in the way. We'd finish a run, we'd all want to hang out, but then you got 30 people standing in the lobby and it's just kind of congested. Um, and at the same time, I was at a job that I held for about 12, 13 years in corporate management. They paid for my MBA. It was a great experience. And I started to get the wheels turning. Well, hey, there's all these people. There's an unmet need here in this community. Somebody ought to step in and give them a home. And if these people aren't willing to drive farther to get their needs met, then there's probably a lot of other people in this market that's probably shifted to online purchasing, or this, that, or the other. So I talked to my wife. It doesn't hurt matters that I had a really it was a very tumultuous time at the other job. I had a boss that was not working out. There was an ethics investigation into him. Like every other day, I'm getting a phone call from legal or HR asking questions about him. So I said, you know what, let's just step away.
Mhm.
Took a few months, met with some industry folks, went to a trade show, and said, all right, let's pull the trigger. So we incorporated in late 2017, and now we're coming up on our third anniversary of having our doors open.
Wow. And it seems like your business, it's more than just um, getting people equipment and shoes, and you do a lot of group runs, and it really is a community focus, not just, I mean, you're a running store, but I think that kind of undersells it a little bit because you have so many ways that you reach out to that running community.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one thing that you'll notice throughout every chapter, and I think this is typical for many, many runners, anyone who's ever ran in a group or even just with another individual as a running buddy, um, we tend to find really deep connections on runs. When you're running with someone for 30, 60, 90 minutes, you start to really you start to really peel the onion and get to know that person in a way that you might not if you're watching a game and having a couple beers, or if you're going, sipping on wine and watching a movie. It's a very different relationship, and it's really rewarding. It's a really deep connection that you get with your community and with your friends, and that started in high school for me. That was always central to running. Was was really being able to make those deep bonds with people that you get when you're just out on a run. Um, and so that was something that I felt was missing when I was running with a local running team, Fast Track, when we didn't really have a home base. And it's nice to have something like that. But what I've found through getting to know our customer and getting to know others who work in the industry is that it's so, so, so much deeper than that. When you come into a store like ours, we're here to house that culture of a
Mhm.
local running community. And just because someone doesn't run with a local running club doesn't mean that they don't want to be plugged in with that culture. And that's been really, really rewarding to just get to know all kinds of local runners and get to know their stories and their successes and their struggles, and to be able to kind of be an information hub for them. When somebody runs into something, maybe it's something uncomfortable that they don't want to talk about, like chafing or something like that, they can come in here and talk about it. Foot problems, we do a ton of work doing sit and fit with people with bunions and neuroma, neuropathy, bone spurs, you name it. And helping somebody come back from a bunionectomy that wants to run. Well, they should be coming in here, not reading reviews online and dealing with getting shoes shipped out and then sending them back because it doesn't sit right where the bunion was, and this and that and the other. And so the more you involve yourself with it, the more layers there are to helping people. And it all just starts with a conversation, sitting down and getting to know them. Our process at the store is that you don't bring out a pair of shoes to a customer until you've talked to them for 3 to 5 minutes, because you need to know who that is, where they're coming from, and what they've been experiencing to really be able um, to provide the level of service that we need to be providing here.
Mhm. And if somebody is, they haven't run before, they approach you, whether it's in the store or whether they just know you're a runner and approach you outside and say, I'm thinking about trying it. What advice do you give them? What do you tell them?
So we do a Couch to 5K program twice a year, and so that's part of our community that we've really developed, and it's wonderful because a lot of those folks keep coming back, so they just do the program over and over, and that is the biggest piece of advice, is to surround yourself with people who have done it before
Mhm.
and use that information. And what a lot of folks will do when they get into it is that, oh, well, it takes 21 days to make a habit, so I'm going to run every day for 21 days. And then 21 days later, their knees hurt, they have shin splints, they're exhausted, they're completely unmotivated to go on a run. And so the biggest thing is, for all runners, manage yourself to minutes, not miles. Don't do too much too soon. It sounds great to have 3 miles instead of 2.6 or something like that. But really, just try and run for 30 minutes. And then the next week, go up 10%. You know, you did 30, don't go out there and do an hour just because you felt good. You're gonna hurt yourself. We're all getting older. So that's the main thing. So surround yourself with people that are going to give you reinforcement, that are going to give you good advice, because questions are going to come up. What do I wear in this weather? What kind of gear do I need for this? Am I an overpronator? Why do my knees hurt? And so you just got to surround yourself with those people who can answer that a lot better than like WebMD or a Google search or what have you. And then don't do too much too soon, because
Mhm.
that's a surefire way to injury or burnout, and neither one of those is going to be good when you're trying to start a habit. That I think when most people start out, it's a habit that they want to be permanent. So
Um, so, over the last year, a lot has changed for everybody and certainly for the running community. We're not having those organized races and we're not out in big groups. Um, how have you adapted to that? And what are you planning for when we get back, when we all get vaccinated and we get back to normal?
yeah, great question. I feel like it's a shameless plug for our store, actually. The If you want to look back at how we adapted in 2020, to answer the first part of your question, all you need to do is go on our website and watch the video that's on the homepage of our website right now. So in the spring, we had a Couch to 5K program that started in late March. And so in mid-March, we sat down. I got pizza for all the returning Couch to 5Kers. We just kind of game plan, like, how are we going to do this? Anything we need to start, stop, something we should continue, whatever. And then all that up in smoke a week later, we got the 2 week shelter in place order that we all thought, oh, we'll just go back and April 7th, everything will be opened up again. And here we are a year later, and we're kind of just stuck in neutral. So that group specifically was incredible because they were confronted with this unknown thing, right? There's a lot of confusion, uncertainty. People are afraid about their job, their livelihood, their health, their family, all of it. And they showed up in a big way virtually. And they were posting their runs every day we have a closed Facebook group, and every day they were communicating and just really lifting each other up, sharing and celebrating every success, no matter how small. And so when the program concluded, typically we conclude that at the Run for the Roses, which is a great local race in Roselle. And it's awesome. Like there's always people cheering and husbands with flowers for their wives as they cross the finish line. It's just really nice. And it didn't happen. So Diane Kane, who coaches our Couch to 5K program, and I came up with an idea of we're going to set up our tent at the store. We are going to film it. We're going to get video. We're going to create a course route for them. We got all volunteers from our customer base and from Fast Track, the racing team, to man the course and direct these runners. And they had a 2-hour window to start. So everybody ran together, but separately.
Yep.
So you showed up. We said, hello, off you go. There's volunteers to steer you along the way. And then when they finished, they all got a medal and a banana and some water. And that's about all we could do. But there's an absolutely wonderful video of that on the website. One of our customers who has like a super 4K HD drone. I don't even know. He'd probably slap me if you heard me say that, but he got some awesome aerial shots of everything and edited it and really told a really nice visual story in about 2 or 3 minutes with that video. So we're just really proud of that because it's a moment in time that we might not ever really experience again. For 21, we're moving into a larger space. So we're going to have a dedicated fitness area in the store in 21. So once everybody gets vaccinated and the restrictions come off, we're going to be hosting more events than ever before. So educational stuff, clinics with chiropractors and doctors, physical therapists, yoga classes, Pilates classes, you name it. And then of course the group runs that we normally have. And then adding a walking club in that location as well.
Wow. And if people want to go and watch that video, what's your web address?
Oh, it's just extramilerunning.com. XTRA. So there's no E at the beginning of that.
Great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me and sharing your running story. Really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you guys reaching out. This is just another relationship that came from our customer base. I mean, it was Deer who connected us, and she's just been absolutely wonderful. I think pretty much from the day that we opened, she's always been interested in working with the community and kind of getting her finger on the pulse of what's going on. So she's just absolutely wonderful.
Awesome.
So thank you for connecting.
Thank you.